Most businesses never submit, not because they don't have the capability, not because they don't have the capacity, because they convinced themselves they weren't ready. They needed one more certification, one more connection, one more month to figure it out. Meanwhile, the government wrote checks, $2 trillion worth, to somebody else. And today we're going to talk about submitting. And I'm not going to give you a checklist of tactics. I'm going to give you a mindset shift that changes how you see the entire game. My name is Melinda Colon, and I'm a GovCon strategist and enterprise value architect. And today in GovCon Daily, we're going to go a little deep. Here's the reframe I want you to sit with, because submitting a government proposal is not a tactical event, it's a strategic declaration. When you submit to, let's say, a state agency, a local government, a federal department, you're saying something. You're saying, we belong here. We are a government vendor. And this is a venue, this is a revenue channel we have decided to own. Most businesses never make that declaration. They orbit the opportunity, they research, they attend the webinars, they download the forms, Google and YouTube, and then they don't submit because submitting makes it real. And real means you can lose. And losing feels worse than never trying. But here's what I know about established service business owners, people who've already built something real revenue, real employees, real opportunities. You don't just sit here until conditions are perfect. You get here because deciding and figuring it out was the only way. Submitting is a decision first and a process second. The businesses winning SLED and Fed contracts right now are not smarter than you. They're not more connected than you. They made the decision earlier than you. And that's the only true difference. So before we talk about anything else, I need to make sure you're making the decision that government contracting is a revenue channel. You're going to compete for it, not someday, but today, right now. And everything else flows from that. Let me give you the landscape before most people think government contracting it means federal. It only means Washington and Pentagon and big agencies with impossible compliance requirements or red tape or bureaucracy. And that is in one market. It is the great market, but it's not the only market because SLED, state, local education, airports, correctional facilities, clerk of courts, utilities, those often move smarter and faster. Your state government and your county, your city, your school district, your public hospital, your transit authority, your water utility, these are government buyers as well. And they are spending billions of dollars every year. The people that are paying attention, they're shaking hands, they're understanding the people in the community who are facing opportunities, and they need a contractor like you. SLED is a relationship proximity. And you're probably thinking to yourself, you probably already have a relationship with someone at a local school district or the county agency. That is the open door. That is not a shortcut. That is a strategic asset. So use it. SLED also moves faster, shorter cycles, less bureaucracy in many cases. And SLED, your commercial track record matters. You don't need 5 years of federal past performance to compete. You need proof that you deliver. You probably already have that. And you just need proof that you want to deliver it for them. Because Fed is a SLED as a scale game. When people talk about $700 billion in DoD budget, the hundreds of billions showing on HHS, VA, DHS, they're talking about the market that operates at a completely different scale. Federal contracts can be larger, they can be longer, and more recurring than almost anything in the private sector. But Fed is also more structured, more competitive, more compliant intensive, and it rewards businesses that have built the infrastructure to compete. The registrations, the certifications, the proposal capability, the pipeline discipline. So we have to build to that level. So here's a strategy. Start with where you are right now and leverage what you have. Scale into where the money is. For most established businesses, that means SLED first. Build your government track record, build your confidence, build your infrastructure. Then use that foundation to compete in Fed with proof of performance before you, not behind you. This is not a rigid rule. If you have a federal relationship, a federal inroad, a teaming partner with federal past performance, go Fed. But don't let the size of the federal market paralyze you. SLED is real money. SLED is right now. SLED is opportunities that are waiting for you. I promise you one tactic here, and it is every government opportunity, whether it's SLED or Fed, tells you exactly where to submit. It's in the solicitation. It's not hidden. It's not complicated. Find the portal, register before the deadline, and submit early. That's it. That's the tactic. I'm not going to walk you through every portal in the country. There's hundreds of thousands of them because the portal changes by agency, by state, by opportunity. And what doesn't change is this. The businesses that lose on submission almost always lost because they found the portal too late. They registered the morning of, the portal had a technical issue, they couldn't reach support, the email got bounced back, deadline passed, proposal gone. It's just same thing. Don't do that. One tactic, find a portal or early, and everything else is strategy. Now let's have an honest conversation. It's not the portal. It's not the paperwork. It's not compliance requirements. Those are real, but they're solvable. Thousands of small businesses solve them every year. So the real reason most established businesses don't submit is identity. They don't see themselves as government contractors. They see government contracting as something other than companies do. Bigger companies that do that, more connected companies do that. Companies that have been doing business for 30 years do that. And so they disqualify themselves before government ever gets the chance to. This is called identity protection. This is the most expensive mistake in GovCon, not a bad proposal, not a wrong portal, self-disqualification. Here's what I want you to understand. I want you to understand that the government has a mandate, a legal mandate, to do business with small businesses. They're legally required. They have set aside programs, small business goals, supplier diversity requirements. They are actively looking for qualified small businesses to bring into the ecosystem that they have built over 250 years. They're looking for you, and you're not raising your hand. And when you don't submit, you're not playing it safe. You're leaving money on the table, millions. Money that is going to someone else right now, today, while you wait to feel ready. Readiness is not a feeling, it's a decision. The businesses in the real business, real contracts community, we have won state contracts, local contracts, federal contracts, and they didn't wait until they had it all figured out. They just submitted. They learned, they adjusted, they submitted again, and eventually they won. And then they won again. And that pattern starts with one thing, the first submission. If you don't get started, how can you end? I want to reframe you from what to think about what submitting means, even when you don't want to win. And I know I said that right. Every submission is a market intelligence. When you submit to a government agency and you don't win, you now know something you didn't know before. Data point, you know what the winning price looks like. Check. You know the gaps that the evaluators identified. You know what the agency values. You know how positioning landed against a real competitor in a real evaluation. Check, check, check. And that intelligence is worth more than any research you could do from the outside. And here's what most people don't know. You can ask for it. When you don't win a government contract, SLED or Fed, you could request a debrief. The agency will tell you why you lost. They will tell you what the winning proposal did better, and they will hand you the roadmap to winning the next one. Check, check, check. You see, most businesses don't request the debrief. They're embarrassed. They move on. They repeat the same mistakes on the next bid and wonder why they keep losing. Well, because you didn't ask for feedback. Requesting the debrief every single time makes you stronger, but it also builds relationship. See, treat every submission as a data collection event. You are gathering intelligence on a market and you're building a profile of what winning looks like in this agency at this price point and for this type of work. Then every time you submit, win or lose, you get smarter. And the businesses that dominate government contracting are not always the most capable. They're the most persistent and the most disciplined about learning. This makes you a winner. Submission is how you learn. So just take action and start submitting. Here's what I want you to walk away with today. Step 4, submit, is not about forms. It's not about portals. It's not about page limits. It's about deciding that government is actual market that you want to compete in. SLED or Fed, state, local, or federal, $2 trillion, real buyers, real contracts, real revenue. Now you've built a real business. You have real capability. You have real people who can deliver. The only thing standing between you and government revenue is submission. So submit. If you're ready to stop orbiting this opportunity and start owning government as a revenue channel, go to realbusinessrealcontracts.com. We'll show you exactly how you can do this and implement it into your business as a system that increases value and optimize your processes. I'll see you there.